All right, so I told everybody in a post a couple weeks ago how excited I was. Now I was heading to flag football practice, and we had a 7 p.m. practice, and I had just got the news on my way out the door to practice. So I was on the phone the entire way with one of my DBs that I trained and developed a relationship with, and a DB that I love to death. So for what I do, and I know you guys have seen a lot of videos on my IG page of just drills, and you see me communicating sometimes and teaching the drills, but more or less you see the players running the drills. And the reason I do that is simply because I want DB movement to be understood, right? Like, a lot of things that we do as DBs, a lot of people don't understand. And so the movements that I'm particular about, what I show, about how I show it, and who I actually put on the page. And so I'm a stickler. I am a stickler in movement and stickler in drills. I'm a stickler in communication. I'm a stickler in teaching, developing, and helping. That's my gift. Football is my talent. My gift is being able to teach, mentor, develop, and help young athletes and mentor them as well. So let me get back to the excitement. Now, a couple weeks ago, like I said, I was heading this flag football practice. I got a call. Now, this kid that I was training, and I can say his name, Caidan Maddux, he went to NBA Montgomery Bell Academy here in Nashville, Tennessee. This is where I reside. So I train a lot of DBs here in the Nashville area, unless I go to another city or a state to train other DBs getting ready for the combine, getting ready for college, getting ready for their pro days, whatever it may be. This is my calling. This is what I love, right? So super excited to get this news. Caidan was a kid that came to me. His parents actually reached out to me. I want to say going into his senior year, right after his junior year of high school. Caidan started his junior season, but he was going into his senior year. Nevertheless, his parents reached out to me, started playing football. I want to say it's his freshman year, and I could be wrong, but I want to say he started playing football around his eighth grade or freshman year. And he played, he got in, he started a little bit as a junior, but then was benched as a cornerback. He's a white corner. And look, for everybody, as I do these videos, I'm a blunt person. As I coach, as I develop people, I'm blunt. I will never curse you. I will never put my hands on you, but I am very stern and I'm blunt. I've been there. I've done that. I understand it. I know it. I can teach it. I can develop it. There's nothing that I have never seen before. There's nothing when I step on a football field I don't know how to fix. That's not cockiness. That's not arrogance. That's just confidence in what I know. And so, I tell my white DBs, I have a lot of white DBs, and I tell them, you playing this position is rare. I need you to understand that. At the high school level, that's where it cuts off for almost, and I'm throwing numbers out there, but probably 95% of white DBs. It cuts off at the high school level. You don't really see it at the collegiate level. You rarely see it at the professional level. I think it's single digits in the National Football League, and it's a small percentage in college. So I tell my players, I tell my parents, I speak openly. I'm not rude about it. I just want them to understand what they are facing. They're behind the 8 ball, and I'm just being honest. So Caidan's a white DB. So I get the phone call from his mom and his dad, and they were talking about, wanting me to train them and for me as a DB coach, as a mentor, as a trainer, I want to be able to see what my athlete is capable of doing. Why is that? Like, I want to be able to see them in game type situations. I want to see their movement. I want to see how they respond to certain situations in a football game. I want to see what they can and can't do. And, I can look at a highlight tape. I can look at game film. I can evaluate it the same, right? Like I know what you can and can't do when I start seeing you move, right? So, and seeing how you react to formations and things of that nature. So, I took Caidan on, obviously, and Caidan, like I said, he came to me going into the spring. I want to say going to the spring of his it was junior year, going into his senior year, and we started working, going into that summer, and we put so much work in. Caidan didn't understand. He did not understand what I was asking him to do. I mean, and we laugh about this to this day, but he was a deer in headlights. The first couple sessions, because couldn't put his feet together, didn't understand the verbiage, and just a lot of things, and a lot of things that you guys as high school players, you don't hear. Your high school coaches doesn't teach it. They don't know it. And that's not a knock to them. They just don't know what they don't know. So got an opportunity to work with Caidan and just to help him. And like I said, going to the spring, going to the summer, we just put in work, man. I mean, this kid showed up every day, hard work, his effort, everything was there. He's smart. He wanted to be able to he wanted to learn it right now so he can apply it. And my voice keep going crazy, right? But nevertheless, it was so much fun being able to work with him, because he fit in well with a lot of my other players that I was training, and I'm watching this kid just kind of get better. And he understood the pedal, he understood the T-step, he understood, the thirds and the man and the speed turns and the pivots and all of those other things, right? Like he finally started to understand them. So as we fast forward going into his to fall camp, his senior season, after a lot of his hard work, man, like this kid came around and you started to see. And I mean, he was a kid that was benched. He played his junior season and was benched, but he come around his senior season and he was a starter every single game. And he was a dominant force on the football field for NBA. They went to state. They came up short in state, but he was watching him every week, week in and week out. And we were getting together film studies and getting together and going through certain movements and everything else, not only in the spring and the summer, but we was doing it during the season. This kid was committed. He was getting up at 5:30, 5:45 in the morning to get a training session in right before school happened. And I mean, this kid was just so dedicated to being great, man. He was, I mean, it was awesome to be able to see this kid, grind and work. And it was a lot of fun to be able to work with him and to be able to get these things going. So, after the season happened, and a lot of kids were getting offers, and not everybody, for a lot of you high school players and, you football players, everybody's not going to be a 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star. Everybody's not going to have that. Everybody's not going to go the same path, right? Like we're not going to take the same route. It's going to be harder for some kids. It's going to be easier for some. It's going to be harder for some. But I think the kids where it's harder for them to get to the final destination or where they want to go, I think they are better prepared. And that's just me. I could be wrong, but I think they're better prepared because they learned how to fight. And this kid, I mean, coming out, there wasn't a lot of people that were knocking down the door. I mean, we were on Zoom calls, we were talking to coaches and me, his parents, him, and I mean, we're just trying to figure out, okay, where, can you fit in? Because, one of the biggest problems was, being at the school he was at, he didn't play a lot of man coverage. He didn't play a lot of press. Now, I was teaching him press. I was teaching him man, but, they played a lot of zone and no knock to his coaches or anybody, but, sometimes some coaches just don't put their guys in certain situations. Some coaches just don't teach certain things, maybe because they don't know, maybe because they just don't want to teach it. I don't know. I don't know why that happened the way it happened, but it happened. So he just didn't have a lot of the stuff that college recruiters wanted to see on film from him. So, like I said, we were just banging down people's doors and contacting everybody. And, we finally got Samford University, Samford Football, to be able to respond back. And, it was exciting to be able to hear about Samford responding back and wanting him to come on. And in situations like this, Samford wanted Caidan to come in and play for them, but they wanted him to come in the spring. They did not want him to come in that fall. They didn't want him to be a part of the team. They wanted him to come in for that following that next season. Now, this is I've seen this happen when I was in school for certain players. This has continued to happen for certain players. And, Caidan was excited about it. I don't think a lot of people knew that the route that he had to take, because when you sign your letter of intent and things of that nature, like a lot of people just don't know the details. Some people say they got a full ride scholarship, and that's not true. Some people say they were a preferred walk-on, that's just not true. But this was a situation where he was a preferred walk-on, and and they wanted him to come in the spring. And so me seeing him, that never, not one time ever stopped him from wanting to grind more, to get better, to be able to say, you know what, coach, they said this, but let's keep working. And, I'm like, yo, let's go. Like, and I kept telling, I'm like, Caidan, after he signs letter of intent, I'm like, hey, the work's not done. I go, we can get on this roster. I was like, we need to get you on the roster in the fall. You need to be there with the team in the fall. And so we have worked and just worked. School was out. We working and needed to put on weight, putting weight on and muscle on him, and getting his body developed. And, he's coming over every day, working out at my gym here in my home. And we're doing field work. He's working on my USFL guys. And we're just grinding, man. And this kid never, not once complained, and we come a couple weeks ago, we come to the last workout. Now, throughout all these workouts, once again, I as we always said, like, Caidan, I want you on the roster in the fall. And he's just like, coach, we're literally recording him. We're recording workouts, his movements and things of that nature, sending them to the coach. And he didn't show it. He wasn't discouraged that the coach didn't contact him back. But at the same time, he was just like, coach, the coach didn't respond back. And I'm like, it's okay. Let's just keep sending him stuff. I go, they're not going to show their card, but let's just keep sending him information, sending him videos, and show him you're working. And so, we get through this thing, and all of that happened. We get to the last workout. And I just remember, it was on a Thursday. I gave him a hug, and I'm like, bro, I love you, man. Like, go ball. We came up with a plan on what he needed to be doing throughout the week, how he needed to be running, how he needed to be doing footwork drills. I didn't want him to peak at any moment, but we just wanted to keep his body conditioned and ready to go. Watching film, like, we were going as far as looking at YouTube games so he can learn the defense, we can learn the verbiage and all these other things. And man, that Thursday, he left. I gave him a hug. That Friday, we got done with workouts Thursday. Friday, he ended up leaving. His parents, they head to Alabama and to go set up his dorm room. And I get a call. That Friday. I think we had practice. So he gave me a call. He's like, hey, coach. He FaceTimed me, and I actually missed the FaceTime, and then I had to call him back. But he was like, coach, I was calling so I could show you my dorm room. And so he was telling me about his dorm room and everything else, and how the bathroom's connected, and how he was excited about a refrigerator and an air fryer. And I'm like, dude, that's college life, right? Like, my boy is out on his own, but he's excited about the air fryer, excited about a refrigerator, just excited about being with the boys, right? And he get done telling me about all of that. And I was like, bro, you really trying to show me an MTV crib by FaceTiming me your dorm and all this other stuff. And then so then he goes, coach, that's not the only good news. I go, what's up, bro? He go, so you know how we came up with all those plans to, work out and do all of that? And I was like, yeah. He was just like, we ain't got to do that no more. I'm like, what? He was like, the coach called me while we were on our way here. DB coach called and said, I see you've been working. We want to bring you to the 120-man roster. And I'm sitting there, bro, like, I like, for all of you guys, right? It's, for me, this is my gift that was given to me by God. I am so thankful to be able to be a part of these stories, because it's not me. I just have knowledge and understanding on how to help the player and to instill in the player, but the player has to put in the work to see the fruits of his or her labor. And, God gives it increase. And all throughout the entire time of recording the videos, recording the drills, doing the videos, recording the drills, and just making sure he was prepared and ready to go. You know, we all hear this saying of, you know, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That's literally my mindset since, you know, from I train kids at grade school level all the way to pros. I want you to be ready, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And when he told me that, I couldn't do, I cried. God got the glory. And it was just so awesome to be able to know that he has got an opportunity to be able to step in and help this football team in practice and potentially in games, and to potentially, because he was a preferred walk-on and he was coming on in the spring, and but now he's got an opportunity to earn a scholarship early by practicing hard. And I mean, the exciting thing, he just got it cleared by the NCAA. He got his equipment on. They just played Thursday night. He was on the sideline. So for a kid that wasn't supposed to be on the roster or try out until next year, 2024, in the spring, he's on the roster in the fall in 2023 on the sideline dressed. If anything happens, he's going on the football field. I mean, a lot got to happen, but he's dressed for a kid that nobody wanted to look at. A kid that kept grinding, kept working, kept putting in the hours, the blood, the sweat, the tears, and not knowing or understanding, but just working. And to be a white DB at that. Man, I don't say that to be any kind of way. I don't race bait. I don't be whatever, but I'm honest. And he's caught some flack while he was there, but they respect him because that boy works. And he got the nicest feet. But it's just awesome to be able to see the fruits of his labor and to be able to hear the excitement, you know, when he's saying, coach, like, you know, we're doing this now, and the coach is saying this about me, and the players, I'm talking to the players, and this, when he sent me a picture of his locker and his jersey in it, wow. So I say all that to say this, for all of you who are out there trying to figure out what in the world is going on. You benched, you got injured, you know, you don't know what's going to happen. Your coach might not like you. Your coach might not be playing you certain ways, or the defense is this or that, or whatever it may be. Man, keep grinding. Keep grinding. Who cares? You've got to be willing to outwork anybody. You've got to be willing to put in the work. You've got to be willing to go to places that other people won't go. I tell my son, I tell Kate, I tell all my players that I train, you got to be willing to go somewhere that other people refuse to go. That's how I was as a player. That's how I am as a trainer. I'm willing to go places that nobody willing to go. I'm willing to teach you things verbiage-wise, skill-wise, technique-wise. I'm willing to do those things because you need to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. So now when you go to college and hear it, now all of a sudden it's not foreign to you. Man, so it's just super exciting, man, you know, to be able to share this story with you guys, because this is exciting. And I do thank God. And I mean, this kid now is able to perfect his craft, and he doesn't have to worry about working out by himself every single day. That's hard to do. I really want you guys to think about that. And I've dealt with a player that has had to work out the entire fall to stay ready for the spring. That's hard. To stay motivated, to go in there by yourself, to make sure your weight is up, to make sure you're not peaking, to make sure your condition is on par, to make sure you're not lifting too much weight, or, you know, getting too big and putting on too much weight, whatever it may be. It is hard. I mean, I was prepared to go to Alabama, prepared for him to come here on breaks, prepared to be able to do whatever we need to do to make sure he was ready in the spring. Now we ain't got to do that because he's with the strength coach. He's with the football team. He's with his position coach, and he's grinding every single day with his boys. So, man, like I said, I say that to say, keep going. It may look blurry, murky, whatever. It may look just gloomy. Just keep grinding because you never know. Don't give up. Don't quit, man. Y'all make sure y'all like, subscribe, and comment. If I can help you responding, talking to you about whatever, like I told you, I train DBs. This is what I do. This is not a hustle. This is what I do. I know I can get you better. And you got to put in the work. You got to put in the work. I have the information to help you, the knowledge to help you. I've been through it all. I've done it all. I've done it all. I was my own agent. I played at every level that you're trying to get to. I've seen it. I've won Super Bowl. I've been to playoffs. I've won games. I've got interceptions. I've got touchdowns. I've got tackles. I've got game-changing tackles. I've gotten sacks. I've got forced fumbles. I've done it all. I've done it all at every single level. Stay focused, man. Stay focused and keep grinding. Y'all take it easy. Peace.